Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you to the 40th episode of Thursday Night Thunder. 16 of the baddest monster trucks are going to turn some dirt up for you fans right here tonight, and they all have their eyes set on the Gravedigger. The Digger's Diecast race team currently holds that checkered flag. He has the bullseye on his back. Now we're going to go ahead and take a look at the points from last week. Gravedigger leads with 20. Equalizer follows suit with 15. Stinger and Backdraft hold the gate closed with 5 points. Also going back to last week, the final round, Equalizer had the edge out on Gravedigger, but the Digger came back in the shutdown area, taking the win. Also, the Power 4 team blew out the rear differential and broke the right rear spindle when they pogoed the truck. The team thrashed all week long. They are back tonight at 100%. Now to kick things off, here in round number 1, the Carolina Crusher out of Wadesboro, North Carolina. Keith Cromwell behind the wheel of that Chevrolet. He draws up against the wild man, Ryan Johnson and Taz, who always puts on a phenomenal show. As we get set to go green, we're kicking off week 2. They're even, up and over the cars, and what a photo finish. And I believe the Carolina Crusher got the win, and there you see the margin of victory by a tire. Well, up next here in round number 1, Chris Baluk and Stinger Unleashed. He draws up against the old rival, James Valancourt and the UFO machine. Both trucks are staged at the starting line as we get set for green. Down the straight stretch now, Stinger pulls a lead and he turns the truck over. UFO moves on to the next round. Stinger Unleashed has rolled the truck over. The MTA track crew is down there on the track now, rolling him back. Hard roll for the Stinger team. Hopefully it's not hurt too bad and they're able to come back for week number 3 of the March season. Well, next up here in round number 1, Greg Durbin returns in the Backdraft Dodge, a 2-time Thunder champion. He draws up against the one who made storylines last week, Mitch Brown in the Power Ford out of Atlanta, Georgia. Ford and Dodge now as we get set for green. Down the straight stretch, Power Ford with a lead up and over, in the Power Ford out of Atlanta, Georgia goes on to round number 2. Well, up next, Chantel Bailey in the brand new Scooby-Doo machine. She draws up against the outlaw, Joshua Wells, in the brand new Toro Loco, front engine design, coilover shocks, no sway bars on the truck. They're looking to do great things as we go green. Down the straight stretch now, they're dead even up and over the cars, and the Toro Loco machine nosed over hard. That might have cost him the win. You see him come off that first jump right into no man's lane. Look how hard that truck nosed over. Chantel Bailey moves on in Scooby-Doo. Well, next up, Bradley Graham out of Paxton, Illinois, the 5-time Thursday Night Thunder champion, draws up against Ashley Obie in that brand new Wildflower machine, which looked wicked fast. This one ought to be a barn burner as we go green. Down the straight stretch, they're dead even up and over the cars, and what a photo finish. Max D was right there with her. Let's see here, and there you see it, Wildflower gets the win by half a truck length. Next up here in round number 1, the rollover king, Matt Cheever and Gravedigger the Legend. He draws up against the legendary Rich Wagner in the Wild Hair Chevrolet, a 4-time Thursday Night Thunder champion. Ford and Chevy as we go green. Down the straight stretch, Legend had a lead, but Wild Hair come back, and what a piece of driving by Rich Wagner, keeping it under control. Next up, Jerry Womack Jr., who made it to the finals against the Gravedigger last week. He draws up against the big Wolverine Chevrolet out of Big Lake, Minnesota. Another Ford and Chevrolet matchup as we go green. Down the straight stretch now, they're dead even up and over the cars, and Wolverine gets into Equalizer. Equalizer, Jerry Womack keeping the truck under control. You see him off this first jump right here. Wolverine actually crosses over in no man's land, gets into the Equalizer. What a piece of driving by Jerry Womack, keeping that truck on all fours. Well, now we get set to close out round number 1 action. The current Thursday Night Thunder champion, Bob Hegan, out of the Digger's Diecast race team, holds the checkered flag in Gravedigger. They draw up against the brand new Iron Outlaw out of Tonganoxie, Kansas. As we go green, who's moving on to round 2? Digger has the lead up and over the cars, and the Gravedigger puts Iron Outlaw on the trailer. He moves on to round 2. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going down to the pits now of the Maximum Destruction team. Bradley Graham is not satisfied with the way that truck has been running these last few weeks. Him and the crew chief have gotten together. They're making sure that truck is 110% for next week, making some fine-tuned adjustments out of that brand new truck, which debuted at the top of the February season. Also making adjustments to the truck is Joshua Wells and his crew chief, fixing up the Toro Loco machine, which nosed over hard in round number 1. They're looking to come back next week with a vengeance. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have had some of the closest racing in Thunder history right here tonight, and we're hoping to do some more right here in round 2. James Valancourt in the legendary UFO machine, he draws up against Keith Cromwell in the Carolina Crusher Chevrolet. Ford and Chevy match up at the start line as we go green. Crusher has a lead on him up and over the cars. UFO gets in the Crusher, but the Crusher takes the win. Next up, Mitch Brown in the power forward out of Atlanta, Georgia. He draws up against Chantel Bailey in that brand new Scooby-Doo. She took the Monster Mutt Dalmatian to victory lane at the Legends Show. As we go green, power forward Scooby-Doo up and over the cars, and Scooby was right there with him. Power forward takes the win. Next up in round 2, Ashley Obie and that brand new Wildflower. She draws up against a 4-time Thunder champion, Rich Wagner in that Wild Hair Chevrolet. Needless to say, this race could get wild. Stage now as we go green. Down the straight stretch, Wildflower had a lead, but Wild Hair coming back on her. And I'm not sure who got that win down there in the shutdown area. And there you see it right there. Wildflower takes the win by half a truck. Well, now to close out round 2 action, a restored rivalry from last week. This was the finals. Jerry Womack Jr. in the Equalizer. He draws up against Bob Hegan in the Gravedigger. Equalizer wants revenge on Digger. Who's going to take it to the semis as we go green? Equalizer has a lead, but Digger comes back on him. And I'm not sure who got the win. Such a close race in the shutdown. Going back to an MTA replay, Equalizer has the lead. And the Gravedigger looks like he puts that Chevy power plant down. He will take the win over Equalizer. And as a matter of fact, we are heading down to the Equalizer pit now. We are getting word from the crew chief. They were running Gravedigger so hard, they are hoping they didn't just blow the motor in the Equalizer machine. They're going to look over that truck and get back to us as soon as possible. But we hope that truck is not blown up. They're going to get things back together and start thrashing and figure out what's going on. A tough break, no doubt about it, for the Equalizer team, but it is semi-final time here on Thunder. Keith Cromwell in the Carolina Crusher out of Wadesboro, North Carolina, draws up against the power Ford machine out of Atlanta, Georgia. Mitch Brown behind the wheel. Classic matchup, Ford and Chevrolet now as we go green. Down the straight stretch, Crusher has a lead up and over the cars, and I believe Power Ford gets the win over Carolina Crusher. Going back to an MTA replay, dead even going over no man's land. Both of them hit the set of cars, and Power Ford does take the win. Next up in the semifinal action, Bob Hegan from Digger's Diecast race team brings up the 1950 Chevy panel wagon, a Gravedigger. He draws up the brand new Wildflower machine. Ashley Obie behind the wheel, been bad fast all night long. As we go green, Digger and Wildflower down the straight, up and over the cars. And it looks like Gravedigger has just edged out the Wildflower machine, going down to a photo finish. And there you see Digger getting wild. He moves on to the finals. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Monster Mania 2 comes to you March 27th. You don't want to miss it.
Diecast monster truck racing like you've never seen before. All for the biggest prize. 32 of MTA's baddest monster trucks are gonna do it again. Them boys are giving it all they got. Monster Mania 2. Whoa, what a race to the finish line. It's the biggest show of the year. Monster Mania 2.
Monster Mania 2 brought to you by Jaybird Customs. They do awesome woodworking. Be sure to check them out on all their social medias. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is final time here on Thursday Night Thunder. Gravedigger, Bob Hegan behind the wheel. That 1950 Chevy panel wagon out of Kill Devil Hills, North Carolina, draws up against the Power Ford machine. Mitch Brown behind the wheel out of Atlanta, Georgia. Now the Power Ford team worked so hard last week after they pogoed it in round 1 racing, breaking the rear differential. Gravedigger went on to beat Equalizer and became the Thursday Night Thunder champion. Ladies and gentlemen, Gravedigger, Power Ford, it's showtime. Down the straight stretch, they're dead even up and over the cars, and Gravedigger spins out. Power Ford takes it across the finish line. As we go back to an MTA replay, both trucks are dead even coming down that straight stretch. Some sick air by both of them coming across no man's land. Gravedigger spins it out. Power Ford takes it across the finish line. Congratulations to Mitch Brown and Power Ford for winning Thursday Night Thunder. Well, ladies and gentlemen, here's a current look at the point standings. Power Ford with a huge leap this week, moving up to 25 points. He's just shy of the Gravedigger by 10. Equalizer follows suit with 23. Stinger, Backdraft, and El Toro Loco and Taz hold the gate closed with just 10 points. They're looking to come back by the end of the March season.
Standing tall up in victory lane, I done brought the pain and now they screaming my name. Yeah, everybody saw me rock the place. Now there's flashbulbs are popping and mics in my face. Always giving the crowd what they need. Now they're wearing my shirts front row to nosebleed. Now the crowd forms is what it's all about. Signing autographs until the lights out. Yeah.
Thank you guys for watching the 40th episode of Thursday Night Thunder. We hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to check out our other videos linked right here on our channel and catch up with all the action. Make sure you crush that subscribe button, and I'll catch you down the road. See you next week.